If you've ever thought about creating a children's picture book but felt like you couldn't draw, couldn't afford an illustrator, or had no idea where to start, that is about to change in a very big way. Because for the first time, you can take an idea for a children's story, generate the illustrations, build the layouts, and turn it into a ready-to-publish picture book in a matter of hours, not months. It's quick, it's easy, and honestly, it's something anyone can do now, whether you're brand new to publishing or you've been publishing books for years. Today, I'm going to show you a new way to create and publish children's picture books. And yes, I'm going to take you through the exact tool that I'm using so you can follow along yourself and try it out. But for now, let's talk about why this is all possible now. If you're new here, I'm Caroline and I'm a self-publisher who has been creating and selling books on Amazon for over 7 years, and on this channel, I show other people how to do the same. And today's video is one that I have been really excited to film because the process of creating children's picture books has always been one of the most challenging and time-consuming books in the publishing world. Until now. For decades, children's picture books were one of the hardest books to make. You needed an idea, a script, an illustrator, consistent character designs, page layouts, formatting knowledge, and sometimes thousands of dollars just to pull it all together. And that's a barrier that kept a lot of people out of the children's picture book space. But now with tools like AI, people are able to build picture book drafts, illustrations, scene concepts, character variations, cover art, and full storyboards very quickly and very affordably. Not because AI is replacing authors and illustrators, but because it's removing that friction that used to stop people from even trying. Children's picture books have always been one of the most popular niches on Amazon. I have published my own children's picture books. I have many videos documenting that process that I used to create and publish those books. The demand for these books is huge, but the supply has always been very slow to produce. AI changes all of that. Here's why this matters for self-publishers. Number one, you can create books faster. What used to take months can now take days and sometimes even hours. This means that you can test more ideas, build more series, and publish more consistently. Number two, you don't need illustration skills. Now, the number one barrier is gone. You can now direct the style, the characters, and the scenes of the story without having to draw anything. Number three, you can explore new niches more easily because AI lets you prototype ideas instantly. And number four, you can still fully customize everything. The author's voice still matters. You control the story, the tone, the characters, lessons, and the emotions. AI is simply going to be helping you to get the visuals and the structure faster. Those barriers to enter this niche is now low enough that you can create something meaningful without needing a huge budget. But this brings us to the ethical question. Is it even okay to use AI to create children's books? This comes up all the time, and I do want to address it directly because it is important. AI is a tool. You are the creator. AI isn't deciding the lessons that will be learned. AI isn't building a character arc. You are. AI is only helping you bring your vision to life faster. Using AI ethically means using it responsibly. And that means not copying other books, not mimicking specific artists, not trying to fool readers, creating your own story concepts, editing and refining the output, and ensuring everything is age appropriate and safe. When you direct, edit, and curate, it is still your book. And publishing has always used technology. We went from hand-painted and hand-drawn covers to digital illustration, from typewriters to word processors, from hand-drawn layouts to InDesign, from manual keywords to automated tools. We've used stock images, ghostwriters, templates, and design software. And AI is simply the next evolution. More stories equal more representation. AI allows creators from all different backgrounds to tell stories they otherwise couldn't. Children benefit from more stories, not fewer. And you still bring your human heart. AI can help you generate a picture, an image, but it doesn't understand childhood joy, fear, wonder, imagination, or emotion. That part comes from you. Okay, so now that I've set the context, let's talk about the tool that I will be using for this demonstration. I'm using BookBolt. I've used BookBolt in lots of my past videos, but they have just released some huge updates that I am excited to show you. And one of those updates is a full AI story generator built directly into their platform. So inside of BookBolt, you can now generate a full story, generate matching illustrations, customize each page, arrange layouts, choose art styles, refine scenes, and export a ready-to-publish PDF all in one place. It's designed specifically for KDP publishers, so the sizes, the layouts, the margins all align with what Amazon KDP expects, aligns with their guidelines, and I'm going to show you exactly how this works step by step. Now, the links to BookBolt are down in the description box below, and also make sure to use my code so that you get an extra 20% off, so that you get the best price possible. Before we jump into creating the actual book, I want to take a minute to talk about niche research, because choosing the right topic for your book is just as important as creating the book itself. AI can help you generate a beautiful story, but it can't tell you whether that story is something people are already searching for or whether there is a strong demand for it on Amazon. That part is still your job, and this is exactly where BookBolt's updated research tools become really useful. So here's the basic process that I recommend. Start with broad ideas. Think about categories like emotions, confidence, mindfulness, bedtime stories, kindness, friendship, overcoming fears, or starting school. These are huge evergreen themes that parents and teachers are always looking for. Use research tools to validate that demand. So inside BookBolt, you can search keywords to see if customers are searching for these topics. So for example, mindfulness for kids picture book, kindness picture book, bedtime story ages 3 to 5. And when we search for a specific keyword, the updated dashboard is going to show us search volume. It's going to show competition strength, related keywords, trending topics. And so we can see in this list, I've searched for bedtime story ages 3 to 5, and we have some very close matches with a search volume of 1,000. So it's showing us that people are searching for these similar kinds of keywords. And this tells you instantly whether a topic is worth pursuing. Something else that's new with BookBolt is the movers and shakers, which is going to tell us which books in which categories are currently trending with Amazon's customers. It'll show us things like the bestseller rank, the estimated sales, the reviews and how many reviews that book has, and the daily, weekly, or monthly progress. Then we need to look at what successful books are doing over on Amazon. So head on over to Amazon, do a search for the keyword that you're interested in. We're going to look at what books show up in the search results. And you want to check things like their titles, their covers, what the bestseller ranks are, because this helps us determine whether books are selling in this niche. So whether that niche is healthy and active or whether it's not in demand. We want to look at how many reviews the books have, the themes that they focus on, page counts, age ranges, whether they're part of a series. And you're not doing this to copy, you're learning what customers are responding to. And then you need to identify a gap that you can fill. Then, and only then, can you start generating your book. This is why I always say research first, create second. Because when you validate the market up front, your picture book has a much stronger chance of ranking and getting sales. So now that you have seen how to choose and validate a profitable picture book topic, let's jump into the fun part, actually creating your book using the new AI tools. So from your BookBolt dashboard, we just need to head down to create, and we need to head to the BookBolt studio, and we want to start a new project. We want to create a paperback. You can create the cover and interior together if you like. We want to use the AI story generator, give our project a name, and then choose your trim size. You can choose whatever you want for this. These all align with what Amazon KDP prints, but in general, a lot of the children's books are a square format. So I'm going to choose 8.5 inch by 8.5 inch. We want premium color because children's picture books need to be in color. And we're going to choose our page count. So for now, I'm just going to keep it at 24. The amount of pages in your book will depend on what the age of child it is that you're targeting. So this is where we can adjust and customize the layout. Do you want your illustrations in the top part of the page, your text below? Do you want a full illustration with the text overlaying? or do you want the illustration and text on separate pages? Let's do full illustration with text overlay. This is really cool. You do have the option to create books in different languages if you're interested in doing that. For now, I'm going to leave mine in English. We're going to target kids aged 2 to 4, and this is where you can decide what template you want to use. So what type of story? Is it going to be a funny story, a fairy tale? Is it going to be educational? Let's say that we're going to choose a moral tale, and then you can choose how you want your character to be. Are they going to be brave, curious, kind, silly, smart, or helpful? I'm going to choose kind for this one. And what is the lesson or the moral that you want the story to portray? And since I've chosen a kind character trait, I'm going to choose kindness for the lesson. And here you can add in any optional instructions, things that you definitely want included in the layout, in the character, or in the story. So I'm going to continue on, and this is where we get to create our characters. So you can create a human, a magical creature, animals, or something different. I'm going to call my character Billy, and then we can also change the style depending on how you want your book to look, how you want it to feel. Do you want it cartoon? Do you want watercolors or acrylic? I'm going to leave it at watercolor because I personally like watercolor images. We can choose our gender, which I'm going to leave at female with green eyes. We'll do medium skin color with brown hair, and I'm going to make her primary outfit yellow, and then secondary is going to be cyan. And again, you can add any additional prompts that you want the character to look like or to be wearing. For example, here you can add wearing glasses and things like that. And then I'm going to generate the character so we can see what she's going to look like. And one of the hardest parts of using AI to create characters is getting the characters to be consistent for each page or scene. And this is where this specific AI tool really shines, because you can create specific images without losing your characters or your style. So now we have our character, that's Billy. Now, if you're not happy with the character it's created, or if there's something that looks funny, remember AI isn't perfect with images. It does create some funny things sometimes. We can regenerate the character, and you can keep regenerating until you are happy with what it's created for you. Now the character looks a lot older. Because my book is targeting the younger kids, more like the toddler age, I'm going to go with the younger looking girl so it's a bit more relatable for them. So I'm going to continue on to the content, and this is where we can start to generate our story. So what it's done here is it's given us each page and what text is going to be on the page. So it's created a story for us that is going to be focused around kindness, and it's also created an image prompt so that we can generate an illustration for each of the pages. So let's click the generate illustration button, and we're going to see what illustration it's going to create based on this illustration prompt to match what's happening in the story on the first page. And again, same with the illustrations as with the content. If you're not fully happy with the story, you can regenerate until you are happy with the story that it's creating for you. And this is all customizable. And so this is where you need to review the structure, edit the language, the tone, or the pacing. And this is where you add your own unique touches. This is where you add your personality. This is where you add the human side of the story and of the book. So if you're happy with the style of images that it's creating for you, you can create them one by one, or you can just generate them all at the same time. And if we want to enhance them to make sure we're getting the best images that we possibly can, we can do that too. Let's generate all 23 illustrations, and we've got illustrations that are going to match each page and the content. And what I love is each page features the character with different expressions and doing different things, but the character's consistent. It's not changing, which is one of the biggest issues when using AI tools to create characters for books. When you try to create multiple different expressions or the character doing different things, it changes how the character looks. Although we can see on this page, it has completely changed the color of her dress. So that's something I need to regenerate to get her dress to be the same as it is on all the other pages. And again, there it has changed her dress too. So these are things you just need to go through and fix up because AI is not perfect. The goal here isn't to just accept that first draft or what AI spits out. Think of this like a storyboard. You can refine each scene to match the emotional tone that you want for your readers. But from there, once we are happy with all the images, with all the content, we continue on to the pages of the book, and this is going to generate the layout, and this is going to actually turn it into an actual book. So we're going to just select all the pages. Okay, so now we can start playing around with the design elements on the page, the font. So we can go through and add in whatever font we want that matches the story. And I'm going to choose something that sort of matches that whimsical watercolor style that these illustrations have been created in. Then we can move on to adding that into the project. So now we're in the actual editor. This is where we can do any further customizations or editing, and you can add and remove elements. And ideally, you just want each page to look balanced. So keep in mind, picture books should flow visually. You want each page spread to feel intentional, not crowded. So for example, I'm not particularly happy with the background behind the text. I feel like it covers up too much of the image. So you can either remove it, but then I feel like you can't really read the text. So we can maybe bring it back, and maybe instead we might want to just reduce the opacity so you can still see what's happening in the background of the illustration, but the text is still bright and still stands out. So I can go through and I can adjust that on each of the pages. I might do the same on this one so that we can still see the image in the background, but the text is still very readable and it's not hidden in amongst the illustration behind it. If you did want the kind of story that does have different fonts on each page, or a different font to emphasize a particular word or a particular sentence, you can go through and make these individual customizations as well. You can have different fonts on different pages. On this page, again, that font and the background is kind of covering up most of the character there. So what we can do is move them if we want. We can move them to the top of the page because there's a lot of space at the top of the page there. So again, we can reduce the opacity on that background so we can still see the image in the background. And so these are the kinds of adjustments you need to go through and make. Make sure that each page flows, like it makes sense, that you can still see the image, but also the story, the content, and the words stand out. Now, the next step is going to be creating your cover, which you can do directly here in BookBolt. Let's just head on over to the image generator, and we're going to use the current AI story context, and you need to pop in a prompt of what you want your cover to look like. You'll just need to play around with your prompt a little bit. You can then add this to the page. Then you can add some text so that we can add a title here, and just spend a bit of time on really making your cover look and feel as high quality and as professional as you possibly can, so that it matches the expectations of the niche, so that it gets the attention of the parents or the teachers, whoever's going to be searching for this kind of book, and make sure that it stands out on the search results page so that it catches the customer's eye, so that they can find out that this is the perfect book for them. Once we are finished, we're going to download current project for a printed book. We can download the entire book interior and your cover, and you have the two files that you need to upload and publish your book onto Amazon KDP. Now, you will still need to finalize your metadata, pick out your keywords and your categories, but the hardest part, the interior, is now done. Now, AI tools are powerful, but they are not magic. So some of the things that AI cannot do for you is it will not give you perfect consistency 100% of the time. You may have to regenerate certain images. It won't replace proper editing. Human review is still essential. It won't automatically meet every KDP requirement. You will still need to check things like bleed settings, margins, text size, images, trim size. It won't create emotionally rich stories on its own. That part is on you. And it won't replace human creativity. AI can help you build the foundations, but it can't replicate the heart or the message behind the story. So who does this work best for? Pretty much everyone. Beginners. If you've always wanted to create a children's book but felt overwhelmed, this is the easiest entry point ever. Intermediate publishers. If you're looking to expand into children's picture books without hiring illustrators, this lets you explore the niche quickly. And advanced publishers, if you are already experienced, this tool will help you prototype stories faster and scale projects more efficiently. This whole shift with using AI is only going to get bigger. We are not heading towards a world where AI replaces authors. We're heading towards a world where creators who use AI simply work faster, smarter, and with more freedom. AI will help you do things like Test ideas, build series, publish consistently, reduce costs, iterate quickly, bring stories to life, compete in crowded niches, and create books you never thought that you could create. And whether you use AI a little or a lot, it is becoming a standard part of modern publishing. The ability to create a children's picture book from idea to fully written and illustrated interior used to require so many different people and moving parts, as well as a big budget and months of work. Now you can have your first storybook created by tonight. And once you refine your story, you adjust your illustrations and package it properly, you have a real book that can be published, sold, shared, and then turned into a full book series. This is one of the biggest opportunities self-publishers have ever had, and it is only getting more exciting from here. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe because I'm always doing more tutorials on creating books, AI publishing tools, and KDP strategies that you can use right now to grow your publishing business. And if you did enjoy this video, YouTube thinks that you might like these ones too. So please go check them out to learn more about publishing your own books on Amazon KDP. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.